How we doing, people? Rudi Lickwood, social commentator, comedian. Listen, man, it's starting to get serious now. All right, it's starting to get serious. I've spoken to a lot of people today, even up to this morning, that the government will start moving in on your children. All right, they will start to administer vaccines without your permission. Yeah, and I'm sure that there are a lot of parents who do not want this to happen. I think getting the parents' consent is very important. I think it's a total disrespect not to talk to parents, especially with what they want to call conspiracy theories running around the place about the purpose of the vaccine. But if you're going to start to administer this vaccine now without the consent of parents, which, as you're about to see, is happening, it is now people, I'm talking to you, man, it is now a concern. They're moving in. They are moving in.
I'm worried that my fucking child's going to get fucking ill. Please, parents out there.
Sorry,
parents out there. My child has just come home from school without my authority and has been given fucking injections on her fucking arm. I've rung the school and they've said that it was nothing to do with them, that the NHS come into the school and they've done it. I've got a tag! And not even had my authority. I've not signed nothing. I'm absolutely fucking livid. Please fucking check your children and make sure that they're not being fucking jabbed without your authority. Now, if my child gets fucking ill, what am I supposed to do? Fuck knows what she's had put in her. But school, it's fucking pissed me off. I'm so fucking angry and upset that now I'm worried that my fucking child's going to get fucking ill. Please, this is a war.
Yeah. I'm sure that some of you have shared it, but I'm hoping that some more of you will know that there's a form that you can fill out, man. It's important. It's important that if you're in a position where you can make a change, that you do, and we're running out of time. We're running out of time. Yeah. I don't know how else to kind of put it across. The NHS would not do that. Well, I don't know why the mother would come out and say that. She's not going to just make it up, is she, Liz? Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not the NHS. It's people who's been instructed to do certain things. It's not the NHS. It's people who are instructed to do certain things. Yeah. Orders get passed down. Nobody is disrespecting anybody who works at the NHS. Nobody is disrespecting the NHS. We're talking about policies that are being laid down and they have to follow through on. It's just like, to me, it's like understanding that institutional racism doesn't mean all white people are racist. Institutional racism is here. But the thing is you've got people who instigate these kind of ideas. Deadline is today. I know, that's the thing. The deadline is today. So because the deadline is today, I'm making a last minute plead that people do something about it, that people fill out the form. I'll put the form in there so you can find it. The form is not easy to fill in either. They are making it hard for everyone. Well, read it the best that you can and fill it out the best that you can. All right. That's what I would suggest that you do, because that's all I could do. You know, even if you just go, no, I don't like it. No. At least you've said something. At least they've got something off you. Yeah. I know as part of the Rants and Bants crew, especially like yourself, Liz and Denise, you guys know this information, but this is for people who don't know the information.
I wish I could say that I was, like 100% confident we'll get a vaccine for COVID-19.
The trouble is that the people who think that they can take responsibility for their own health and take their own risk are, I'm afraid, misunderstanding the situation.
Now, whatever else we might say about the pandemic, I think we have to recognise that this is largely of our own making.
The most radical change to UK medicines law in over half a century is set to occur in October. The changes will allow experimental COVID vaccines to be rolled out and promoted like no drug before it, as well as to be administered by people who are not qualified healthcare professionals.
We've got 30 million doses already contracted for with AstraZeneca. In fact, they are starting to manufacture those doses already ahead of approval, so that should approval come through, and it's still not certain, but it is looking up, should that approval come through, then we're ready to roll out.
The Oxford coronavirus vaccine trial has been temporarily put on hold after a participant developed an unknown illness. Researchers halted the experiment to investigate whether the patient had an adverse reaction to the vaccine.
There's a small window of opportunity to stop this happening, but it needs as many people as possible to object, so that the changes in the law are not just rubber-stamped by Parliament. That window is provided by a public consultation organised by the Department of Health and Social Care that closes on the 18th of September. You'll have one chance to make your views and objections known to the government before the amendments to UK medicines law go to Parliament. This is not just about COVID vaccines. The changes in law are also happening at the same time that the UK takes over full responsibility for its laws on medicines from the European Union because of Brexit. Safety testing of drugs and vaccines don't always stop an unsafe drug being sold. That's why Vioxx, Baycol and Bextra had to be recalled. Testing before the 1960s was even less rigorous. That's, of course, when the thalidomide disaster struck, causing an epidemic of birth defects to children born to mothers who had used the drug for their morning sickness or anxiety during pregnancy. Modern testing protocols that are now about to be cast aside by these new laws were built on the horrendous experiences of thalidomide. No one wants a repeat of these kinds of disasters. But the new track the government's amendments have set us on could do just that. The fast-tracking of regulatory approval protocols, the disregard for properly informed consent, the creation of a whole new brigade of vaccinators who are neither healthcare professionals nor are answerable to any registration board, together with the reversal of a 42-year ban on direct-to-consumer advertising of prescription drugs and vaccines, could create the perfect storm for such a disaster. We need to tell the government we won't support a change in legislation that opens the door to coercion of the public in a mass vaccination programme using experimental vaccines based on genetic engineering platforms that have never been used at scale before. The taxpayer pays for and also indemnifies all commercial interests from any civil liability in the event of injury. Are you happy for the manufacturers of these novel vaccines to be granted full immunity from prosecution if they cause damage to those vaccinated? The consultation closes on the 18th of September. We've got this very small window of time in which to get in our responses, as well as telling as many of our friends, relatives and others in our networks to respond as well. We've put our draft response to the consultation on our website in case you find it helpful in making your own response. Please follow the links below. Say it now. Don't regret it later.
See, the thing is, this ain't about scaremongering. This is about people not being properly informed about what's going on and the vaccine. It's about being able to protect yourself, your children, from anything that could possibly happen. You're right, Liz, it's supposed to take 10 years in order for the vaccines to come through. But President Trump and the pharmaceutical industries are very much aware that the UK is coming out of Brexit. And once we come out of Brexit, it means that we won't have the sort of legal system supporting us that we did have when we was in the EU, that will all disappear. Yeah, and the market will then become flooded with, as you can see, a vaccine that won't be tested properly. You also heard in there that they've already gone ahead to look to purchase vaccinations that has not been received approval, but they're sure they're going to get an approval. And I'm basically saying that if mothers want to protect themselves, if fathers want to protect themselves, that's their children, that all you simply need to do is to send an email to the school with all of your contact details on it, telling them straight up that they cannot give your child any kind of vaccine without your consent or without you being there. That's one way of protecting yourself. It's not the people's fault that they're not aware of what's going on. Remember, a lot of people are at work. Yeah, a lot of people don't get this information. Yeah. The beauty I find with the Rants and Bants crew is that we get a lot of information sometimes 2 to 3 months ahead of a lot of people, and I tend to share it, and the group then tends to share it. We're a very small core group of people, yeah, and we're always asking questions of one another, the same way that Liz did a second ago, and we're not disrespecting Liz's thoughts or Lynn's opinions, okay. We're basically saying, well, what do we do in this situation, seeing as we've got this information? What are we supposed to do with it? And I'm saying to you, protect your children. That's the first thing I would do. I would get the email into the school. I would let them know that they cannot give your child a vaccine or any kind of medication without your consent. You know, I would then look to fill out this government consultation document. When you look at that document, you'll be able to see where the government will turn around and say that they cannot be held responsible for anything that goes wrong. So I'm only putting this out as because I know we're running out of time. It's because I know that we're running out of time. And we started putting it out from last week. No one else has come forward that their child has been injected. You've got somebody who's come forward. Why? How many people do you need to come forward is the question. How many people do you actually need? I do believe something may come, but not where they would go into school without informing parents. But a parent has just now told you. So how many parents do you need to hear? Do you need to hear one parent, 2 parents, 1,000 parents? How many do you actually need to hear? Afternoon, yes, good afternoon, Kaz. So I told my kids not to allow anyone to give them anything, and I agree with you, Liz. But I think you have to go one step further. You have to then send that email out. That will protect them. Yeah. Liz, read the document telling your child will not stop them from doing it. That's what I'm trying to say. This is something that they're going to enforce. Yeah, they're whatever they've got inside the vaccine is going to go even into the flu jabs and stuff like that. That they're planning, that's coming out. Remember, I mean, if you want to look at it from the bigger story, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. That's the best time because that's when us lot can really go mad on this. But once that 5G comes on, man, and we're gonna know about it. That's all I'm saying. You know, and you can call it conspiracy theory if you like, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah, but that's just me just jumping on, man, just to know, because I know that we're running out of time. Time is it's ticking, and tomorrow you won't have a say. You know what I mean?